What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to your first time here. It's a beautiful day here in East Tennessee. The sky is blue. The sun is out. The temperature is just about perfect. So overall, it's a beautiful day here in East Tennessee. You know, it's extremely important to take a few minutes every day just to appreciate the good things that we still have. You know, there's so many bad things going on right now with, you know, the economy and everything going on with the politics. Everything pretty much is bad that you see on the local news or the evening news, or read or see online. Everything is bad news, it seems. So it's extremely important to try to look around your immediate area, mainly in your life, in the weather, whatever, to find, you know, something that you can be thankful for. Extremely important, extremely motivating, because, you know, if you have nothing to be thankful for, then what's the point? You know, what's the point in prepping? What's the point in living if there's nothing to be thankful for? So it's extremely important that every day take, you know, just a few minutes, or a lot of minutes for that matter if you can, but just a few will definitely help a lot to keep your motivation up. To just think about, write that down if nothing else, what you're thankful for. It can be, you know, a rainy day. It can be the fact, you know, that you're healthy. It can be many things, but take note of that every day and appreciate that, because that will give you some perspective and give you motivation, you know, to keep going. Because like I said, if you just see bad, constantly bad all the time, it can get depressing and it can get demotivating, where you don't want to do anything. You say, what's the use? What's the use in living, you know, in a world like this when things are going to be so bad? However, you know, things are getting worse and worse all the time with the economy and just about everything else. For example, I was reading an article a few minutes ago on Zero Hedge. An article was talking about the fact that Walmart in certain areas, it might be in every area, I'm not sure, but I know in certain areas it was showing pictures and videos and things of the Walmarts where they had steak inside this anti-theft type cage, because people have been shoplifting, you know, steaks. I saw the same thing in another photograph that someone sent me in my email, I think it was, but it was showing that Spam. They were putting Spam inside these theft-proof type containers also. And that shows, you know, how bad things are getting when people are starting to steal food. You know, people's always shoplift at food sometimes. It's been a thing. You have people who are hungry, people who are desperate, shoplifting food. And, you know, you can see that when someone is hungry. However, it's getting so bad now, it's a commonplace now that the stores are having to take precautions against that and put those in like cages and things. And I'm sure that some people are trying to steal those or taking resale, for example, because you have a steak that cost this amount, where it used to cost a much lower amount, and somewhere else, you know, they can steal that and take that out and sell that and make a profit off of that, because their investment is nothing. So they can sell that for the old price to someone else and make themselves a good profit. So that's probably going on also. But I was talking in a video here about 2 months ago, I think it was, that as the economy got worse, as inflation got worse, that people would start doing more shoplifting, more, you know, property crime, more theft. And we're seeing that now, and it's going to keep getting worse and worse, like I said, as the economy gets worse and worse, because people have to survive. People have to eat, and they will do what is necessary to do that, besides prepping, it seems, because a lot of people still refuse to actually see the need to prep. They think that it's going to be okay, and it's not going to be okay, unfortunately, as far as the economy goes. But guys, as preppers, we can look at that and know, you know, that property crime is going to go up. It's not going to be just, you know, in Walmart and supermarkets and things like that. It's going to hit you here where you live, because people know other people have things and they want to steal those things. And if you're a prepper, you know, you're definitely a target, because everyone knows you have food storage on hand. That's why it's extremely important to be armed, know how to use what you have, and be prepared to actually use that with deadly force if need be. But most likely, you know, to start out with, maybe your neighbors will try to come over in the middle of the night and steal your chickens. They might come to steal your rabbits, your goats. They might just come to steal, you know, a few eggs. They might come to steal, you know, some tools they can use to work their own garden. They might come to steal some things they can take and resell, they think, or barter for something else. Also, for example, you know, your neighbors could be watching your garden till it gets ready to get harvested, and they're watching all the time, and you wake up to harvest your crop the next day, and you notice when you go out, it's all gone, because, you know, your neighbors that came in and taken that out of there in the middle of the night. Also, you know, home invasion will definitely go up, because people know People keep the most valuable items inside their home. So knowing that theft's going to go up, property crime is going to go up, home invasion is going to go up. So knowing what's going to happen allows us preppers to take precautions against that. And light is one of the most important things you can have, to stop or to work theft and property crime, because people don't want to be seen. People don't want to be seen because they know if they get seen that they could get shot. They could get prosecuted, for example. Or they could just get a couple of guys to come out and just beat the crap out of them, So no one wants to be caught. And the light, takes that darkness away from the thieves, because thieves always want to work under the cover of darkness. So, I want to look into getting some really good high quality solar security lights and put those up in your garden area, and put those up in your chicken coop area, in your barn and things like that, to keep, light all the time. You can have light that shines all the time, or you can have those that, operates on motion activation. You can also look into putting something like, motion activated alarms inside, like inside your storage buildings and things like that. That way when someone comes in, opens the door, that alarm's going to go off and will alert, the person, the owner, that something is out there, so they can go investigate and figure out what's going on. Alarms on your doors, for example, in the chicken coops could work. You want to have those always locked up. I've never done that before, but I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start putting locks on my chicken coop door and the door, where I go in to get the eggs at. So lock everything up, have everything chained down, because you want to slow. If a thief is trying to steal what you have, your goal is to slow them down to make it take it longer to steal. That way you have more opportunity to stop them. And hopefully, if they see that's going to be difficult, it's going to take a long time, they will pace it up to go find an easier target. But you can have everything locked up. You want to have lights. You want to have lighting everywhere to light up your property, your garden areas, your barn, your chicken coops, your storage buildings, everything. And like I said, you can get some alarms like the Dakota alerts. There's others also. Put those like inside your buildings, like this one back here. That way when someone comes in, opens the door, someone's in that building, because there's nothing in there to set a false alarm off. If you have those on the outside, things can actually set those off that aren't necessarily something to be worried about, like animals and things like that. But inside those buildings, if those alarms are in those buildings, then that someone is in those buildings. So when that goes off, like the Dakota alert has different alerts for different alarms. It have alert zone 1, alert zone 2, alert zone 3, alert zone 4. And that lets you know which area that alarm is going off in. So extremely important, lights, alarms. I also want to look into getting a good dog to bark, maybe 2, which I'm looking into right now, because you all know, my dog unfortunately got ran over here a few months ago, and I've waited till the weather started warming up to get another dog, because I don't want to have one in the house right now, especially a new dog. So I waited just a little bit until about right now I'm gonna start looking for another one, and hopefully I can get one that was as good as he was, because he was an excellent watchdog. But having some good dogs outside is definitely a huge plus, because they can act as alarms, and they can also act as a deterrence, because they act as an alarm. But they can also be a direct deterrent through actually biting and attacking the thieves. You also want to make sure you have your doors at your home locked at all times, have secure locks, secure hinges, and be very cautious, if you're approached, because people will act innocent. People will come act like they need help. They're knocking on your door in the middle of the night, or in the middle of the day for that matter, and it'll be somebody that looks unthreatening. And they have 3 or 4 other people back here that are threatening. And they'll send that one person up to scout, to knock on your door, and to get you to come to the door and to open that up. And then you'll be rushed by those other people coming in at the same time behind that first person that got your trust. So be extremely cautious if anyone approaches, your home, or you out in public or on your property, because so much crime, so much robbery, and things are going to happen that you got to look at everyone as suspicious. And like I said, you want to have good locks on your doors and keep those locked at all times. If you hear anybody knock on the door at night, don't answer the door, because you don't know who it is. I mean, you can answer the door, but you don't want to answer the door without taking precautions. You want to know who is out there already. So why having security cameras is really awesome, because you can see, what's going on out front of your home. and know, who's out there, and if they have any weapons or anything like that, how many they are. But still, and if you know who's knocking on the door in the middle of the night, you still can't trust that person. It could be your neighbor, and it could be coming to try to rob you from what you have. Hopefully it never happens, but it's definitely a possibility. And the way things are going, you have to keep that in mind, because you want to think security at all times. And I know when I was at home, and this was back in the 80s, and I was still living at home, and when anyone knocked on the door at night, or actually any time that we didn't know who it was, my mom would go answer the door. I'd be over here on this side with a rifle. My dad would be over here on this other side with another rifle. And if anyone tried to come through the door, they was going to get shot. So we took security seriously. So it's important to think tactically. It may sound crazy, it may sound drastic, when someone knocks on the door, to actually have someone over here with the rifle, and over here with the rifle also, to cover both avenues. It sounds drastic, and we was doing that back in the 1980s. I've done it all my life. Caution. Gotta have extreme caution, because you don't want someone to get the advantage. You don't want someone to get in your home. Because, there's a book called Surviving in Argentina. It's a good book, and I recommend it. But they was talking about in that book that rural farms, homesteads and things in Argentina, after their economy collapsed, was targets. And you have armed home invaders that would purposely target those homes for home invasion. And they would do that, and they would rape, torture, murder, rob, and kill people that were in those homes. So you want to be cautious. Even if you think that you're being too cautious, you're probably not. But anyways, guys, if you want more information on security, my book is a full, complete chapter about retreat security. Amazon.com, link below, check it out. If you enjoyed the video, get a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'm the Creekmore out here, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.